Blox Fruits is doing what again? Well, today we're going to talk about what exactly Blox Fruits is doing again, and we're going to take a look at it, and yeah. Now, Blox Fruits has always had this very bad habit of releasing an update, basically disappearing again, and then, after 4 months, maybe releasing a small sneak peek and announcement of saying it's gonna be releasing soon, and then absolutely forgetting that they made that, and then, release an update 6 months later, and then rinse and repeat. And for some reason, people keep getting fooled that Blox Fruits is going to somehow release consistent updates because that's not how it's been for the past 3 years since they blew up, essentially. And that's what they're gonna be doing again for this year. And unfortunately, I believe that we are in for another year of basically not getting anything in Blox Fruits. And it's super disappointing in a sense that I love Blox Fruits, but when am I supposed to play on the game when I have pretty much everything that I want? Should I go bounty hunt for the 1000th time and then rinse and repeat every single day? And it's so disappointing because I want to play this game, but there's nothing left for me to do because I have the stuff that I want. I am at the place that I want to be in already, bounty wise. So what am I supposed to do now? Well, nothing. And you want to know the best part here, or the worst part here, is they don't even actually do the bare minimum of giving people sneak peeks in the form of words, basically. I'm sorry if I can't speak right now. I'm quite a little bit annoyed, but yeah, it is quite sad because, they don't even do the bare minimum of basically just giving people sneak peeks with in the form of words by saying, oh, this is what we're gonna be doing for this year. We're gonna be doing an update at this is our estimated time to release an update, or we're working on this currently, or we're working on that currently right now. But they never do that. This is the bare minimum thing that they need to do, and they almost never do it. And mind you, Blox Fruits is the biggest Roblox game right now, so they are earning the most money, so they have the capacity to pretty much get the most professional developers out there to be doing these stuff. And not just working on updates, I mean, literally just managing the community. I feel like all they'd have to do to be a lot better in managing their community is to just give people an estimated date of what's happening, news on what's happening, instead of people having to speculate. So shout out to Redivex, but the original title of my video is about the Lunar New Year, and actually take a look at some other YouTubers as well and what they think about, Lunar New Year. Maybe there's some new Lunar New Year sneaks and whatnot. And I found this video of him saying, Blox Fruits, are we really doing this again? Because turns out I'm not the only one who thinks the same way. He also thinks the same way, and if you read the comment right here, somebody basically says, Blox Fruits cycle, release 1 to 2 updates, 1 year later, release 1 to 2 updates, repeat. And then the Blox Fruits dev team is the type to say, I'll hop on in 5 minutes, then ghost you for 3 months. Absolutely insane. And then this one right here, no worry chat, I'll update Blox Fruits 2 years later. Then truth was told from the start to the end of this video. Man, how much I can relate. So it really is relatable for a lot of people. And this is the one I really want to focus on the most, is all devs need to do is to communicate with the community, and they can't even do that. I know, right? Then there's this one kid right here who said they do. What? Except they don't really care about the responses they get, I guess. And then this guy right here said something, they really don't, you just gotta stop protecting them for absolute no reason, for real. And then there's another kid right here who said, try becoming a successful dev and see if you care about every person that plays. That's actually kind of true. That's every popular game dev, they don't communicate with the community. You can't just blame Blox Fruits when there is other games like MM2 and TSB, which is, again, very true. But you can see right here how a lot of people are still defending Blox Fruits for what they're doing. But the other games outside Roblox has nothing to do with this. And then this guy right here is saying that a lot of other games out there don't communicate with their community, which is actually true. It's been that way for a long time. And there are only a handful of developers that actually do communicate that are very popular. And one of them is the Rel Brothers. I don't care what you think about Rel Cs. It's gonna be an absolute peak game. Mainly just for the fact that the Rel Brothers actually do know how to manage and communicate with their community. I don't really care what you say about Rel Cs. If you think it's gonna be bad, which it could be bad, but for all I care, I'd still support this game just for the main fact that the Rel Brothers are awesome when it comes to communicating. Like, take a look at this. On January 29, they communicated something. January 24, they basically released more sneaks than Blox Fruits will release in 5 or 6 months. Then on January, I believe, 22, they released more sneaks than we will ever get in Blox Fruits for an entire year. right? This is what the Rel brothers are handing out, right? So if they can do this, every other game developer can do this, and you can't tell me that they haven't been like this for Shindo Life as well. Shindo Life in 2020, they were making consistent videos on what was gonna be happening. And I'm not lying to you, like if you just go scroll down right here and take a look at Shindo Life right here, we were getting a lot of videos on Shindo Life, like basically every other month, maybe even every other week, informing us of what was gonna be happening. This is how you run the game, bro. Back then, I remember watching Sengoku. I remember watching all of these stuff right here and being so hyped for them. I remember being in our car and watching this video and just being absolutely hyped. This is how you should run it. Not every famous game developer out there doesn't communicate. There's still a few of them. Mainly, in my opinion, the biggest example is Rel Games, because they've been like this for as long as I can remember. They've never really ghosted their community, ever, right? And it's always been bad for Blox Fruits, but the commenters are kind of right. It's been bad for pretty much every single other game out there. It's just, when you're a game as big as Blox Fruits, there's really just no need to communicate at all anymore, because you know people are going to be playing otherwise. So they basically have zero need to communicate and do the things that other game devs do as well, which is actually kind of sad, because again, as I mentioned in the beginning, Blox Fruits is a pretty awesome game that could be really good, but it's just hindered by the developers basically not doing anything at all. And I feel like it's gonna be like this for the years to come until this game dies somehow, eventually in the future. I feel like maybe when the RLCs comes out and people start playing RLCs a lot more, people are gonna start, you know, seeing how good RLCs is and how the developers there communicate. And a lot of people are gonna start moving on RLCs because of that. Because genuinely, RLCs is almost better in every single aspect. If you think RLCs is bad, one thing that RLCs will never be worse at is the developers, because they have developers that can actually communicate with what's happening. There's basically only two ways that this can change. Number one, their game starts to die because another game replaces them. Like how Anime Vanguards was the game that kind of killed Anime Defenders. People saw how good Anime Vanguards was and basically hopped on Anime Vanguards because it was a much better game. I'm hoping something like that happens for RLCs, which is very, very doubtful because of how big Blox Fruits' player base is. Blox Fruits is way too big to die to any other game because they're just massive. Or the second one is people stop protecting them and actually do something like how they did when they got scammed of their dragon fruits, which they never will, because people love defending these kinds of things. People love to defend the developers for absolutely no reason, and even back then when they did the dragon thing, there were still a handful of people defending them for what they were doing. And for this case right here, which is a less minor thing, there's gonna be a lot of people defending them for what they're doing, which is basically not giving a damn about the game anymore. But if we do want to see them change, a lot of these bigger YouTubers like Kit Gaming, you know, they're gonna have to start talking about Blox Fruits. They're gonna have to start talking about how it's not doing updates and how they're basically not communicating at all. But that will never happen, because guess what? Those developers out there, they're earning way too much money to even care about the normal players that play this game. They just don't care anymore. And the same way for those other YouTubers out there, or other gamers out there that are already way too big, so they don't even bother talking about this anymore. So yeah, this is gonna be how it is for Blox Fruits, which is why I have a lot of other channels that focus on other things. Because Blox Fruits, it's that game that you play basically once a year and quit and forget it, and then come back to it another year. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.